In a stunning announcement today, social media star turned boxer Jake Paul says he will fight former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson. Netflix will stream the bout between 27-year-old Paul and 57-year-old Tyson on July 20th. Tyson hasn't fought since he and Roy Jones Jr. met in a 2020 exhibition that ended in a draw. While Paul built a significant fan following as a YouTube influencer before embarking on a surprisingly successful professional boxing career 4 years ago. It's official, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson is happening. The social media star turned boxer will fight the former heavyweight champion on July 20th at the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. And the entire event will be streamed live on Netflix, the first combat sports show for the media giant.
I mean, that is a mark of a shot fighter when you can't get off punches.
Down goes Botha. That's all it took. One shot, he may not get up. Botha stumbling around.
At 57 years old, Tyson hasn't fought since he took on Roy Jones Jr. at an exhibition in November 2020 that ended in a draw. It's still uncertain whether this bout will be staged as an actual pro fight or an exhibition. The specifics still must be approved by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. But Tyson still looks sharp enough for a real match.
Nice one, Mike.
Iron Mike Tyson was the undisputed world heavyweight champion from 1987 to 1990. He retired in 2005 after winning 50 fights, 44 by knockout. Paul, meanwhile, built a significant fan following as a YouTube influencer before he embarked on a professional boxing career about 4 years ago.
He's done it from time to time, just hasn't been.
He has won 9 of 10 fights with 6 knockouts against mostly undistinguished opponents, including several mixed martial artists and a fellow YouTuber. His only loss came last year to Tommy Fury, the half-brother of WBC heavyweight champion Tyson Fury.
I'm just so glad to have the honor to step in the ring with one of the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champions there's ever been.
In a promo for the fight Paul dropped on his YouTube channel, he's seen reimagining many of Tyson's infamous moments and sharing the big news with friends and family.
I'm gonna fight Mike Tyson on Netflix.
Wow.
Yeah.
After today's announcement, Tyson said, "I'm very much looking forward to stepping into the ring with Jake Paul. He's grown significantly as a boxer over the years, so it will be a lot of fun to see what the will and ambition of a kid can do with the experience and aptitude of a GOAT." He added that it's a full circle moment that will be beyond thrilling to watch. As I started him off on his boxing journey on the undercard of my fight with Roy Jones, and now I plan to finish him. Preliminary odds for the fight have already started rolling in. One sportsbook oddsmaker has declared Tyson a considerable underdog against Paul. For more on the phenomenon of the fight that was just announced, we're joined by Taylor McKee, Assistant Professor of Sports Management at Brock University. Now, Taylor, this isn't the first time a Paul brother has taken on a famous boxer. Jake's brother Logan fought Floyd Mayweather in 2021. What's the draw for an event like this? I mean, why are YouTubers turned boxers such moneymakers these days?
Well, that's an excellent question. It has something to do with YouTube and it has something to do with boxing, right? I mean, there's a little bit of draw on both sides. Boxing is a sport, and again, the extent to which this can be considered, the sport of boxing is debatable, certainly, but it's a sport that walks the line between pure athleticism and pure spectacle. And in so many, I mean, there's so many examples that you can go back to, depending on which fighter you want to look at throughout history, where their careers, even the ones that had the most sort of legitimate pathways to various belts, whether it's Muhammad Ali or others, I mean, sometimes their careers end with exhibition fights, and that's essentially where we're at right now. The appeal of boxing is it's incredibly simple. It's incredibly easy to understand. It's incredibly quick to sort of pick up what's going on, punch your opponent in the face. But it's also extremely easy to sell as a confrontation. So the draw here is the idea that we can see two people in the ring. I mean, look, getting Mike Tyson in the ring is going to draw boxing fans in droves. I mean, the idea that we can still see Tyson fight, even given his age now, it's going to draw people. And then there's this sort of notion of there's a lot of people that are tuning into everything that Jake Paul does and Logan Paul, hoping that they get, hurt, which is a part of this as well. So certainly that's a part of this, but we are definitely firmly on the spectacle side of things, away from this sort of sports side of things.
So why would Mike Tyson agree to do something like this? He has a pretty big reputation. I mean, what if he loses?
Mike Tyson's career is just so fascinating. And you're dealing with someone who, again, we will say, has not always had a very firm grasp at the wheel here in terms of what the best decision for Mike Tyson's career was. Boxers, for the most part, especially when boxing in the 20th century, was defined by their relationship to their promoters or their managers, right? And in Tyson's career, he was heavily managed and his fights were heavily staged, and his personality and persona was fostered by the people around him. That sort of has changed a little bit in his later years. We're talking about a man who's had a cartoon, he's had a one-man show, and his career's really had like an unbelievable third act, where he's gone from being someone who was, again, early in his career, dangerous person, feared, certainly as an athlete, but also as a person. He, threatened to eat someone's children at one point. Not exactly, again, a loose cannon. To being someone who was completely off the rails, face tattoos, you name it. I think the start of his sort of renaissance, his third act, was his appearance in the movie The Hangover, and then he starts being kind of like a laughing stock, and then also to where he is now, which is kind of like a cultural heirloom from a different age. But what does Tyson sort of get out of this situation? I mean, he gets a payday. There's no way around that. There's no point in pretending like there's some other dimension there that's more important. The payday's big. But again, I think one of the most fascinating parts about the way the YouTube boxer revolution has occurred is that there are a lot of people watching boxing now that really don't know anything about boxing or care about boxing, the sport, or might only know Mike Tyson from the cartoon or from The Hangover, right? This is a chance, I think, for him to be like, even at my age here, I'm going to show you what I can do and what I used to mean to this sport in a way that I think even Floyd Mayweather doesn't necessarily have the kind of reputation going forward the way that Tyson did from the 90s.
It will certainly be interesting to watch. Thanks so much for chatting with us today, Taylor.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.